Are you one of the millions of universal credit claimants who sees a chunk of your money disappear each month to pay off debts? What if I told you that starting right now, you could be keeping hundreds of pounds more in your pocket each year? The Department for Work and Pensions has just launched a major change that could put an extra £420 a year back into the hands of over 1 million struggling households across the UK. Could you be one of them? And what exactly is this fair repayment rate that everyone's talking about? Before I break down exactly how this change works and whether you'll benefit from it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on these critical benefit updates that could literally put hundreds of pounds back in your pocket. So let's dive right into what's happening with universal credit. From this week, the Department for Work and Pensions has officially launched what they're calling the fair repayment rate, and it's specifically designed to help those of you who are struggling with debt. Up until now, if you had debts that were being collected through your universal credit, things like advance payments, benefit overpayments, council tax arrears, or utility bills, the DWP could take up to 25% of your standard allowance to repay these debts. That's a quarter of your basic living money gone before you even see it. But here's the good news, that maximum deduction rate has now been slashed from 25% down to just 15%. This means if you were previously seeing the maximum amount taken, you'll now keep significantly more of your benefit payment each month. According to the government's figures, this change will help around 1.2 million households across the UK, including 700,000 with children. On average, affected households will be better off by about £420 per year. That's a substantial difference when you're trying to make ends meet. You might be wondering why this change has been introduced now. Well, the fair repayment rate was actually announced by Chancellor Rachel Reeves in last year's autumn budget as part of what the government calls their plan for change. The Chancellor has stated this is all about easing the cost of living and putting more money into the pockets of working people. Similarly, Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall described it as taking decisive action to ensure working people keep more of the benefits they're entitled to, which she says will boost financial security and improve living standards up and down the country. But what does this really mean for you in practical terms? If you're currently receiving universal credit and have deductions being taken to repay debts, you should see the change reflected in your next payment. You don't need to do anything. The new 15% cap will be applied automatically. The difference might seem small on a monthly basis, but over the course of a year, that extra money could help cover rising energy costs, put food on the table, or pay for essential items for your children. What's particularly significant is the scale of this issue. The government estimates there are around 2.8 million households in the UK facing deductions to their universal credit every single month. While not all of these households will be affected by the change, as some may already have deduction rates below 15%, for those who were facing the maximum 25% deduction, this represents a major relief. It's important to understand that this change doesn't mean your debts disappear. You'll still need to repay what you owe, but at a more manageable rate that gives you a better chance of covering your essential living costs while doing so. The government is calling this a more sustainable approach to debt repayment, recognizing that taking too much from vulnerable households can push people further into hardship. Some of you might be asking whether this is part of a broader strategy. According to the announcement, it is. The government says this forms part of their wider efforts to tackle poverty and the cost of living crisis. They've mentioned other measures too, such as the extension of the Household Support Fund for another year, backed by £742 million, allowing local councils to support low-income households with energy bills, food and essential items. The government has also pointed to their Get Britain Working White Paper, which aims to achieve an 80% employment rate through various initiatives like overhauling job centres and introducing a new jobs and careers service. They've increased the national minimum and national living wage too, in an effort to ensure that being in work pays better. For families with children, they've mentioned rolling out free breakfast clubs in all primary schools in England, while a dedicated ministerial task force works on a strategy to tackle child poverty. It all sounds promising, but of course, the real test will be whether these measures make a meaningful difference to people's lives. So there we have it. If you're on universal credit and have deductions for debt repayments, you could be keeping up to £420 more of your money this year thanks to the new fair repayment rate. Remember, this change has already come into effect, so check your next payment to see if you're benefiting from the reduced deduction rate. Have you noticed a difference in your universal credit payment already? Or are you unsure whether you'll benefit from this change? Drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts or experiences. This is exactly the kind of policy change that affects real people in real ways, so sharing your story might help others in similar situations. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up so more people can find out about this important change. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on benefits, financial support, and ways to make your money go further during these challenging times. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.